Imagine being a single father who counts every coin before buying groceries. Imagine walking home after a 12-hour shift, your feet aching, your heart heavier than your wallet, and then finding a bag filled with more money than you've ever seen in your life. Now imagine choosing to return it. What would you do? If stories about honesty, second chances, and life-changing moments inspire you, take 1 second right now to like this video and subscribe to the channel. Because today's story might just remind you that one good decision can rewrite your entire destiny. Arman Malik had never asked life to be easy. He had only asked it to be fair. At 34, Arman was a widower and the sole parent to his 8-year-old daughter, Hania. She was the kind of child who still believed her father could fix anything: broken toys, bad dreams, even thunder during a storm. But Arman knew there were some things he couldn't fix. He worked 2 jobs in Lahore, mornings as a delivery driver for a small courier company and evenings at a roadside tea stall owned by an old friend. Sleep came in short pieces. Meals were simple. Bills were constant. Hania's school fees were overdue again. That evening, as Arman walked home through the busy marketplace, his mind was heavy with numbers. Rent. Electricity. Medicine for his mother who lived in the village. And Hania's upcoming school trip that she was too shy to ask about again. That's when he saw it. A leather handbag lying near a bench outside a high-end cafe. Not the kind of place Arman ever entered. The bag looked expensive, deep brown, smooth, polished, with a gold clasp that caught the fading sunlight. He looked around. People were rushing past. No one seemed to notice. He bent down and picked it up. It was heavier than expected. His heart began to pound. He stepped aside into a quieter corner and slowly opened the bag. Inside were bundles of cash. Neatly stacked. Bound with bank slips. Arman's breath caught in his throat. There were also documents, a passport, business contracts, and a name. Sophia Rahman. Even without counting, Arman knew the cash inside was more than he would earn in 10 years. His fingers trembled. 1 bundle. Just one, he thought. No one would know. Hania's school fees would be paid for years. He could move to a better apartment. Maybe even start his own small delivery business. He closed his eyes. Then he saw Hania's face. Abu, she had once said when she found a 100-rupee note on the ground. If it's not ours, we should give it back. Allah is watching, right? He swallowed hard. Yes, Beta, he had told her. Always. He zipped the bag shut. It took him nearly an hour to find the courage to walk into the cafe. The air conditioning felt like winter against his sweat-soaked shirt. People in tailored suits sat with laptops and coffee cups that probably cost more than his daily wage. He approached the counter. I think someone lost this, he said softly. Within minutes, a commotion began. Staff whispered urgently. A manager appeared. Then security. And then she walked in. Sophia Rahman. She looked to be in her early 30s. Elegant, composed, dressed in a simple but clearly expensive cream-colored suit. But her face was pale with panic. That's my bag, she said, stepping forward. The manager opened it in front of her. Everything was there. Sophia's shoulders sagged as if the weight of the world had just lifted. You found this? She asked Arman. Yes. Did you open it? Yes. And everything is still there? Yes. She stared at him as if trying to understand something impossible. Do you know what was in here? She asked quietly. I have an idea. And you still brought it back? Arman shrugged slightly. It wasn't mine. There was silence. The kind of silence that shifts something invisible in the air. Please, she said, her voice softer now. Sit down. They talked for nearly half an hour. Sophia Rahman was not just wealthy. She was the CEO of a rapidly growing logistics company. She had inherited part of it from her late father and built the rest herself. The money in the bag was meant for a land acquisition deal that could expand her company nationwide. "I was careless," she admitted. "I stepped out to take a call and left it by the bench." She studied him carefully. "What do you do, Mr. Malik?" "Arman Malik. I'm a delivery driver. And part-time tea seller." "A delivery driver," she repeated thoughtfully. He nodded. She hesitated, then reached into her purse and pulled out a thick stack of cash. "Please take this," she said. "A reward. It's the least I can do." Arman looked at the money. It could solve so much. But something inside him resisted. "With respect," he said gently, "if I take money for being honest, it will feel like I returned it for the reward." Sophia blinked. "I didn't do it for money." She slowly lowered her hand. "I don't meet people like you often," she said quietly. Arman smiled faintly. "There are many like me. You just don't see us." 2 weeks passed. Life returned to normal. Or what passed for normal. Hania came home one afternoon unusually quiet. "What's wrong?" Arman asked. "They said if we don't pay the fees this week, I can't sit in exams," she whispered. That night, Arman lay awake staring at the ceiling. He had made the right choice. He knew that. But why did doing the right thing still feel so hard? The next morning, he received a call from an unknown number. "Mr. Malik? This is Sophia Rahman." He sat up straight. "I hope I'm not disturbing you," she continued. "I have a proposal. Would you consider meeting me?" This time, she didn't meet him at a cafe. She invited him to her office. The building was massive. Glass exterior. Company logo shining in silver. He felt out of place in his simple clothes. But Sophia greeted him warmly. "I've been thinking about you," she said. He shifted uncomfortably. "Why?" "Because I run a logistics company. Hundreds of drivers. And yet, I've never met someone who values integrity the way you do." She slid a folder across the table. "I checked your background. Clean record. Excellent reviews from your employer. No complaints in 8 years. He stared at the folder, stunned. "I need someone to manage a new regional operations branch," she continued. "Someone who understands the ground reality. Someone I can trust." He blinked. I'm just a driver." "Exactly," she said firmly. "You know the system from the bottom up. You know the struggles. I can teach skills. I can't teach character." He felt his throat tighten. "I don't have a degree. We'll provide training. I don't speak English fluently. You'll learn. I've never managed people." "You've been raising a daughter alone," she said softly. "That's management at its highest level." Silence. "And the salary?" he asked hesitantly. She told him the figure. It was more than he had ever imagined earning. His hands trembled. "Why?" he finally asked. "Why me?" Sophia leaned back slightly. "When my father was alive, he used to say, build your company with people who would return $1 million even when no one is watching." She smiled gently. "You proved who you are when you thought no one was watching." The training was not easy. Arman struggled with computer systems. With corporate language. With meetings. Some employees looked down on him when they learned he had once been a delivery driver. But he worked harder than anyone else. He arrived first. Left last. He listened more than he spoke. And when he made mistakes, he owned them. Slowly, people began to respect him. Because he treated drivers with dignity. He implemented small but powerful changes: fair break schedules, emergency support funds, clear complaint systems. Productivity improved. Morale improved. Within a year, the regional branch became the company's most efficient unit. Sophia watched quietly from a distance. One evening, she visited the warehouse unannounced. She saw Armin kneeling beside a driver who had injured his hand, personally arranging medical help. That was the moment she knew she had made the right decision. Hania's life changed too. Her school fees were no longer a burden. She moved to a better school. She smiled more. One night, as Armin tucked her into bed in their new apartment, she asked, "Abu, are we rich now?" He paused. "We have enough," he said softly. "Because you returned that bag?" He smiled. "Yes." She hugged him tightly. "I'm proud of you." In that moment, he felt richer than any millionaire. Years later, at a company anniversary event, Sophia stood on stage. She told the story of the lost bag. But she didn't mention the money. She talked about integrity. About unseen choices. About character. Then she invited Armin to join her. The audience applauded as he walked up, confident but humble. "Success," Sophia said into the microphone, "is not built on profit. It's built on trust." And this man reminded me of that. Armin looked at the crowd, then at his daughter sitting in the front row. "If you're listening today," he said slowly, "remember this: sometimes life tests you with opportunity disguised as temptation. What you choose in that moment decides your future." The hall was silent. "Do the right thing," he continued. "Even when it's hard. Especially when it's hard. So if you're facing a choice right now, if no one is watching, if the easy path looks tempting, remember Armin. Because one honest decision turned a struggling single father into a respected leader. Not because he found money, but because he returned it. And maybe, just maybe, the life you're praying for is waiting on the other side of your integrity. If this story moved you, don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel. Share it with someone who needs a reminder that honesty still matters. Because sometimes, doing the right thing doesn't just change your day. It changes your life forever.